Hello everybody. Okay, so Leonardo is making some nice leaps. We've been hearing about this for a while, but I've been kind of checking them out since Christmas time, and I'm liking what I'm seeing. So we're going to talk about three of the features. I'm going to do a quick walkthrough of three of the features that are really starting to make Leonardo look like a true suite of tools. So one of the things we're going to talk about is the real-time canvas, which I've been wanting to discuss for a while, briefly, and some applications for the real-time canvas. Then you have real-time generation, and that one is, it says early access, so that one I think is it's like an updated version of the regular image generation that you can do a few things with. And the third one is the one I am extremely excited about, because I'm kind of leaning more into AI image motion. So that'll give you a hint. So you got to stick around for a little bit when I go into that particular feature that I'm excited to share. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at real-time canvas. And here it is. What you have here are two screens. You have the drawing screen and then you have the generation screen. So whatever you put in here, it will start to draw something. For example, say I wanted to make basically a mountain range. Actually, let me go back to the cat, because the cat thing is going to be a theme. I have a drawing that I'm going to do. Okay, so the quick thing here is that before you do any drawing within Live Canvas, you need to start with a brush. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the brush here. So I'm going to do like a little cat. And as we're doing that, it's coming up with something already. Definitely not a cat, but we will go into that specifics later. So once I go through here, I have the eyes, a little bunch of nose, mouth, and some whiskers. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, I cannot draw. Now, this is a very thick brush, but of course you can regulate the size of the brush right here on the left, and it'll come out with something a little bit smaller. Let me see if I can do something. Yeah, it comes up with a little bit smaller. So, as you can see, this is not a cat. So what I can do is I can basically go in here and say a cat sitting on a couch. Well, it's definitely not a couch. Okay, so it took a little bit of time, but it did give me a cat sitting on a couch. You can see it has a few anomalies here, no big deal. The creativity strength, this is another feature that is within Live Canvas that you can play around with. You can decide that you wanted to have more creativity, you want to have more say over the generating image, or if you are more adventurous and you want to see what Leonardo comes up with, you can go ahead and weaken that down to like 0.71. You'll see it's more of a relaxed version of a cat sitting on a couch. You also, because this is, I guess this is an alchemy based feature, you do have roughly the same presets of alchemy in Live Canvas, and I did do a video on those with regards to Frenchie Dog a while back. So you can go ahead and choose, say you wanted to do anime, and then it will, take its time, and then it will generate something in the anime style. This is actually pretty good anime looking kitty. You can do black and white sketch. Kitty looks very relaxed here. Yeah, I'm not quite sure which one's the tail, which one's the leg, but we'll just go with it. But yeah, you can definitely play around with this. Now, where this would really come in handy is if you are working with a team and you want to do some kind of collaboration, or if you're working with a designer and you don't really have the time to do it yourself, but you want to give them a rough idea of what you want to see. Something like Live Canvas would definitely work like on a Zoom call or, you know, Google Meet call. So I can see where the practical applications of this would work for sure. And I'm excited about it. I want to see how I can use it maybe later on, because for me, it doesn't really work right now. And I find that if I were doing something with a designer, then I would really be leaning on this. So for me, as far as usage scale, for me personally, it'd be 6.5. Still a great feature, and I can play around with it. And one thing I also want to mention, it doesn't really take away from your tokens unless you decide to upscale the image or instant refine or something like that. It's very light on the tokens, and you can play around with it until you decide that you want to do something with it, like download it or upscale it. And then, of course, you can do in-painting. Once you do in-painting, this is the drawing. Once you do in-painting, whatever you generated here moves over to this side. So now you can go ahead and you can mask and say, you know, let's see, green cat eyes. So now that I actually decided that I wanted a cat with green eyes, you'll see it automatically updated this here with green eyes. If I wanted to say, you know, bright red, make the cat look positively demonic, you see it automatically updates here. There's no need to click generate. It'll do that quickly for you. So as I said, it's a really cool feature that you can play around with in Leonardo AI. Now, the next one is another feature that I find, I'll show you. It's a step in the right direction. I'll be right back and I'll show you that. Real-time gen is, I think, when I first saw it, I said, oh, this is actually kind of cool. I thought that maybe they would be replacing the image generation, the traditional image generation, but they're not going to do that. And I can understand why. It's regular image generation works just fine, so why would you mess with it? This one is just a more dynamic version, and I am loving it. Again, it's based on the Alchemy presets here that we have here, and let me just show you what it can do. Now, you can type in a prompt and say, a cat sitting on a balcony in Italy. All right? See, it automatically comes up with the image, and you can play around with the elements, which I discuss elements in another video. So you can take a look at that, but you can play around with the elements, and then you can make this, like for example, a kid's illustration. See, that looks more like a kid's illustration. You can bring it back to center here, and then you can do anime. Let's do tune anime. Okay, that definitely looks more like an anime situation there. Yes, that is beautiful, but you can bring it back to center. Yeah, you can definitely put the zeros in and put the numbers yourself, but you can play around with how you want this to be represented. But the part I love is this. Okay, cat standing on, okay, cat holding, let me just go. See, if you're seeing it, catnip now, or the dog gets it. This is what I'm excited about. Leonardo is starting to generate text. Now, I have gone through that feature with DALL-E 3 and with Ideogram, and I was kind of wondering when they would start to do this, and this is the feature that has that effect. Where you can actually generate text is not great. I mean, I can see catnip, but I can't see the rest of the message. And, you know, it's a cat holding sign, and it's not really holding the sign is kind of coming up with them, but the idea here is that they're moving in the right direction. It is not perfect, but it will improve over time, and it will, I think, give DALL-E 3 and Ideogram a run for their money. But again, it's like Leonardo is filling out its role, or starting to really step into the role of being this studio for tools, that for AI image generation you can do ideation, generation, and the next part, which we're going to go into, which is motion. So let me go ahead and go into that, because that part I'm extremely excited about. But another thing about this one is that you can have the creative upscale. Again, you don't really do anything, you don't really have any tokens taken out unless you choose to do something. Whether you can have a normal upscale, you can do a creative upscale, whatever you want, and that'll cost you 8 tokens. So let's go ahead, and you can play around with the catnip. Well, I'm not going to play around with it, but you can play around with this image and any other image you generate. But now, what if you wanted to do something fun with it? Let's go ahead and play with it. Image to motion. Now, image to motion is one of the things I'm excited about. Again, I've mentioned this several times, and I won't mention it again because I'm looking to get more into the animation for certain projects that I want to bring forth. And this is really a lot of fun for me. So when I saw they were coming out with this, it was kind of a low-key release, but I wanted to play around with it a little bit. So I'm going to take one of my, actually let me try this one. This is an image I did for another video. And you can see here that it's just, a cat or, a tiger walking through what looks like a forest surrounded by some fire and flames and everything. Here we have the image to motion icon, and this is basically what you do. What you can see here is that the copy prompt is no longer here, but the image to motion is taking its place. So when we do that, it'll give us the motion strength. If we wanted to, the default I believe was 5, but I usually have it up to 10 because I want to see what the image do at that level. And notice here that it takes 25 tokens. It's pretty expensive, but if you're wanting to come up with something for a video and you want a certain look and you get that look, it is absolutely worth it. So let's go ahead and generate. Now once it generates, it's going to show up in my feed. It's going to show up in, I think, the AI Gen page, special page, but we'll go into that in a second. What I wanted to show you was that I had done some previous videos, and this is of this is an image that I was freaked out about, and I loved it. So this is what this image generated as far as motion, and you can download it, and it is downloaded as an MP4 that you can just play around with. So you can just download it here, and it'll ask you if you wanted to, where you want it to save and all that. So no problem there. So let me go ahead and see what my page reveals about the AI generation. Thanks so much for your time. If you could like this video, if you find it useful, it'll help me to figure out what kind of content you want to see. And then there's the YouTube algorithm thing. Yep, we all know how that goes. So thanks for your time, and let's get back to it. Okay, so now that we have a little bit of time, let's see how the video looks. Let me see. For this one, as I mentioned, I did use this in a previous video or something, and I'm not really seeing it doing anything. So it could be that the image is a little rich, but there isn't even that motion of anything around the cat or even anything on the cat moving. So this may not have worked. So let me go ahead and try another image and see how that works. Okay, let's try. Oh, this is from the old man, or the oil painting, the old sea captain. All right, so let's go ahead and put this through image to motion. 10. Let me see. Yeah, I'm going to add maximum movement, maximum motion strength. So again, let's go ahead and generate and see what happens. And it's going to take a minute. Okay, so on average it took about, I'd say 60 something seconds for it to generate, which is actually pretty good. I have no comparison really from previous platforms, but I don't see it here in my personal feed. So if you don't see it in your personal feed, you can go ahead into image generation and it'll probably come up in your regular generation history, and it looks like it has. All right, so let's take a look and see. Oh, this looks good already. Oh, this looks nice. Okay, this is more along the lines of what I've used it and seen. This is really cool. Again, this is not by any means the best out there, but it is a great step up for Leonardo, and it is a fantastic just rendering that you can do so much with. It's 4 seconds and it's downloadable as an MP4. And you can integrate this in whatever you're doing. Imagine if you're doing like, some kind of a presentation for history, and this would definitely come in handy. Now, again, it's not perfect, but I am completely impressed with it, and I like what I'm seeing here. So that's the part of the whole change of Leonardo that I'm excited about, the generation motion, especially as we move towards more about really adding video elements to our AI images, which is something that I have spoken about in my previous videos, and I'm looking forward to really getting deeper into that. All right, so today we talked about a little bit about the live canvas, which basically lets you draw and then see the rendering right next to each other. Then we saw the real-time generation, where you can just basically prompt and see the changes immediately. It's very interactive. And then we talked about motion, where you can basically pay 25 tokens or whatever it is for any of your images or any image in the community sector, and then you can go ahead and add motion to it. 4-second video. I am excited about that one in particular. If anything, I'm probably like an 8 out of 10 excited about it. So I am looking forward to seeing how much Leonardo improves over time with the image motion, and what else they can basically unleash to show themselves to be a really great suite of tools for digital artists. So thanks for your time. Of course, if you found this valuable, like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think. If any one of these is appealing to you, or if none of them are appealing to you, let me know in the comments and we can, talk a little bit more about it. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys in the next video.